Hello, welcome back to another fantasy football video. I hope everyone is doing well. Game Week 5 very much looming upon us. It's a very quick turnaround in between Game Week 4 and 5, so we're going to have to think pretty hard and pretty quick about our decisions. Today, going to be taking a look at how the team does line up heading into Game Week 5, with the main sort of discussion being around captaincy, because we do have a reasonably tough decision to make this week. I feel like a lot of people will be leaning towards one particular player, but hey, we're going to take a look at how the team lines up. So without further ado, let's get straight on into it. If you're around here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does really help me out. So firstly, taking a look at the defence, we have the newly transferred in man Reece James. I'm very sort of happy to finally have him in the team, especially going into this Southampton game. Away at Southampton, it just looks like a pretty nice fixture. You could go and pick himself up an attacking return, and not necessarily expecting him to keep a clean sheet, but if they do keep a clean sheet, he's also looking very good for the bonus points as well. The double Liverpool boys at the back finally managing to pick us up some points at the weekend against Bournemouth, both of whom managed to pick up an attacking return. Now, Newcastle have been quite good so far this season, managing to snatch a last grasp winner at Wolves. Hopefully, though, Liverpool have shown that they have just turned a corner, absolutely thrashing Bournemouth. So I'm not necessarily expecting them to keep a clean sheet against Newcastle. More kind of hopeful that, there is a little bit of potential that they could end up doing so. Robert Sanchez in goal, not too much to say on him, just that he's been a fantastic option so far this season. And for those of you who don't have a Brighton defensive assets, they just look so good. They're not one to be slept on. Sanchez is very cheap, but Dunk is very cheap. So if you can move on those guys, I think it's the perfect time to do so. João Cancelo as well, playing against Nottingham Forest. Now, there is a bit of debate about the Manchester City players. Will they get rested in this coming game? I'll discuss a little bit more later about that. But going forward into this game, I can't see Cancelo getting benched going into this Forest game. As clean sheets go, you kind of look at this game and think, potentially, almost, it's never guaranteed, but as guaranteed clean sheets go, you look at this fixture and say, come on, they're going to keep a clean sheet in this one. Gabriel playing against Aston Villa. Aston Villa have not looked particularly good this season under Gerrard, and yeah, we're very much expecting actually Arsenal to go and pick up their 5th win on the bounce. I mean, they've had an absolutely incredible start to the season. It was very nice for Gabriel to pick up a goal in that game, because yeah, really sent me flying up in terms of overall rank. So then taking a look at the midfield, the other newly transferred in man Martinelli. My moves, I went from Saka to Martinelli, and then Pontus Jansson to Reece James. Simple moves this week, just covering the expected ownership, just bringing in a couple of players who do look particularly good at the minute. Then we have Pedro Netto, been a bit lackluster so far this season, but the main thing for me, playing against Bournemouth, how poor Bournemouth looked against Liverpool at the weekend was the sort of main reason why he gets in here. It's a bit of a toss-up for me between Andreas and Neto. I'm not completely committed to going with Neto, but it's more just because Andreas, although it is a home game, he's playing against Brighton, who have arguably been the best defence so far this season, whereas Bournemouth arguably been the worst defence so far this season. That's sort of what I am basing it off of, and they've both, not done too great in terms of attacking return. Andreas picked up that 1 attacking return. It's got 3 bonus, so effectively 2 assists really, so you could argue for him having 2 attacking returns. But yeah, Pedro Netto against Bournemouth, hopefully finally he'll manage to pick up an attacking return. And Salah against Newcastle. Now, I've seen a lot of things of people sort of, transferring out Salah, probably in frustration that, how did he manage to not do anything in a 9-0? I still don't know, to be honest with you. But what I take away from that game is that, he had some absolutely unbelievable chances, literally missing one from like a yard out. I think it was probably harder to miss that than to score that. But what that means going forward is that he's going to continue to get those chances, and realistically, on another day, he'll put that into the back of the net. So Mo Salah stays in the team for me for now, and also, yeah, you could just lose out a lot by not owning Salah going forward. And then finally in the attack, very, very standard. I feel like a lot of people own these two currently, and that's Gabriel Jesus and Erling Haaland. Now at the minute with Jesus, I'm not too disappointed if he doesn't do too well, because it really doesn't do my overall rank any favours, because a lot of people are captaining him. And then finally Erling Haaland, just absolutely incredible so far this season. Hasn't blanked in a single game. Coming into this Forest game after scoring a hat-trick, just on fire. And I think most people will be going for Erling Haaland, captain in this Forest game. Now, rotation, that's one of the main topics, I think, going into this game week. Will Haaland, will Cancelo potentially get rotated? Now, for me, it makes the most sense if Pep is going to rotate Haaland to do it in the Aston Villa game, because otherwise, if he rotates him in the Forest game, then he'll play against Villa, then he'll play in the Champions League game, and then he'll definitely want him to play in the Spurs game, because, Haaland, he is going to be playing in the kind of big six, quote-unquote, fixtures this season for Manchester City, against the likes of Spurs, against the likes of Manchester United, against the likes of Liverpool, against all of the big sides. So it doesn't make sense to me to bench him in this game and then play him in the Villa game. More likely to happen is he plays him in the Forest game and then benches him in the Villa game, then plays him in the Champions League game and then plays him in the Spurs game. So that's kind of my thinking behind Haaland. I think I probably will end up captaining. Other options, Cancelo. Before Haaland scored a hat-trick, I was reasonably set actually on captaining Cancelo for this game week, just because, it does look like a reasonably guaranteed clean sheet. But if Haaland just has the potential to go and absolutely smash it in this game, like he did in the previous game against Crystal Palace. Also, Harry Kane has just scored a brace against Forest and potentially should have scored a hat-trick had he not missed that penalty. So that kind of bodes well for our sort of big centre forwards against Forest. And City could easily go and win that game 3-4, 5-0. You never know. So I think for me, it's going to be Haaland, but I am wary that I just have a feeling that Salah is probably going to go and end up scoring a brace or something, and then Harlan will probably blank. It's just kind of the way that FPL goes sometimes, the way that the cookie crumbles in football. But that's this is how the team lines up, and going into this week, I'm pretty happy with how the team is lining up. I see points in a lot of places. Neto is probably the only one where I'm thinking, I'd sort of rather not have him there, but you never know, he could end up scoring us some points. But if you have enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button. Leave a comment down below for how your team is lining up, and just, any comments you want to make, any questions that you want to ask. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really does help me out, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.